everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Scottish Ghost Company's Ghosts of Glasgow, Part 4. And tonight we're going to talk to you a wee bit about Provanhall. Provanhall is in the East End of Glasgow. It was built in kind of late 1460s.
Yeah, around about the 1460s by the Bishops of Glasgow as a hunting lodge. There's a lot of debate about whether it is the oldest house in Glasgow or whether that is the Provin's lordship, which is dated 1471. So it looks as though Provanhall is probably 5 years older than Provin's lordship. But some people argue that Provanhall is not actually in Glasgow, but it actually is in Glasgow, but at the time it was built it probably wasn't, but well, we don't know. So there's a lot of debate about it.
Yeah. The Provin's lordship, for any of you that don't stay in Glasgow, Scotland, is actually right next to the Glasgow Royal Infirmary on Castle Street. It's quite a good wee place to go and visit as well.
It's nice to see during the day.
Yeah. But yeah, we're not going to talk about the Provin's lordship.
Because there's not much to talk about it, really.
No.
We have investigated it and it was very flat.
It was. So back to Provanhall itself. What we do know is that Provanhall itself has had quite a few kind of famous visitors. A couple being, Mary Queen of Scots and her father, King James V, visited.
Yes. They were friends with the Bailey family who owned it at one point. And the rumour is that Mary Queen of Scots was having an affair with the son, William Bailey. But again, it's kind of hearsay as usual. But if you were to believe that Mary Queen of Scots stayed everywhere, then she probably would never have received a letter because she was never at her own house. She was always everywhere else. So
everybody says, she was here.
I know. So I don't know whether it's true or not about Mary Queen of Scots, but it could just be speculation.
I think the first resident to actually, or the first person to stay in the house was the Reverend Dr. Ralph Wardlaw. Him and his wife lived there. They were married for over 50 years, and he died there when he was about 74. So he died in 1853, and he's actually buried up in the necropolis, which, as you know, we visited in the last wee while. And you'll see a kind of tomb, a bust of him up at the necropolis, which, as I say, it should be running along your screen at the moment. What else do we know about it? We know that the last owner of Provanhall was a gentleman called Reston Mather. He died in 1934, and then in 1938 the National Trust took over Provanhall, and then it was subsequently kind of leased to Glasgow City Council.
The way it still is today.
Yeah. It's a really strange wee place, isn't it? Because we've been umpteen times, and
we've done so many events at Provanhall.
We have, but maybe it took us a wee while to find it. We couldn't find it at first because it's kind of tucked away in the middle of a housing estate, surrounded by trees.
It's a bit like Homewood House in that way.
Yeah, but you would never, obviously in its day it wasn't surrounded by houses. It was an estate, it was the Auchinleigh estate, yeah. So it's quite, if you get the chance to go and visit, you should go and see it. It's got lovely gardens and things as well. And
It actually does have beautiful gardens.
Yes, but it's a nice wee place. With regards to ghosts, we actually have a few kind of ghost stories about Provanhall. Some that we have experienced ourselves while we've been investigating there, and we hope to be back quite soon.
Yeah.
When it's getting renovated at the moment, or kind of
I think it's getting restored.
Is that?
Yeah, I think it's getting restored. There's been all sorts of grants and things given to them.
That'll be good.
Yeah, it'd be good to see it finally looking a bit shipshape.
Yeah.
Because anybody that's been there knows it's looking quite run down. And it has, ever since I first went there years and years ago.
Just the same. That's a shame, because it's lovely.
It's about time they invested some money in it.
Good thing is they keep the gardens and things really nice. I think it's actually Marie Curie or Macmillan that look after the gardens, but it's lovely. But anyway, with regards to the ghosts, there's been a few. The one that I know of is the one that I think the gentleman went to war and came back, and his wife was pregnant. Well, she wasn't pregnant; she was obviously pregnant when he left. But when he came back from war, she had a 2-year-old, or she had a baby, and he obviously the baby wasn't his, and he came back and stabbed her to death and slit the baby's throat in the master bedroom of that house.
Provanhall.
So there has been sightings of her and the baby at the window, or the little child at the window, and we have had experience of, I think it might have been her and the child hearing. We heard some voices and some footsteps when we were there.
Yeah, that's right.
And we heard kind of children not laughing, but just kind of children's voices.
Yeah, so they were playing.
Up in that area
Up in
as
the
well.
attic.
Yes, I think she's the kind of most famous one in there.
There's also the White Lady who is seen in the gardens, and the unusual thing about the White Lady, it's been reported a number of times that she speaks, which is very, very unusual for a ghost to interact and speak at the same time. And she's been heard calling for her son, which kind of leads us to think that she is the mother of the boy, that was murdered, by the soldier. So there's two different things. It could be two different spirits, but I think it is the White Lady is the same one that was killed by the man with the dagger.
That's so sad.
I know. The other ghost is the last owner when it was a private house, Reston Mater. And his ghost is seen fairly regularly inside Blockhairn House, which is the newer building of the complex, and he's seen quite frequently on the staircase, either as an in detail apparition of an old man wearing a black suit and a black bowler hat with a white beard, or some other people just see a black mask. But those three ghosts are all very well documented, and they're seen quite an awful lot, aren't they?
I think they've been seen quite a lot by a lot of the paranormal investigating teams that go in. So it's not just like it's a one-off. I think a lot of them have seen.
Even visitors going during the day to look at the gardens and stuff. I've seen people looking out the windows and stuff.
It's strange actually now you're saying that, because we were investigating in that building, in the newer part of the building, and down the stairs next to the beginning of the staircase. It's the first time ever on any event that I've ever been quite frightened, and we were in the dark in a circle. No one was at my right hand side at all. The rest of the crew and the rest of the guests were all kind of at my left, and suddenly at the right hand side somebody grabbed my arm. Now, as I say, I'm actually probably the biggest pessimist of the whole group, and I nearly jumped out my skin. I think I landed on David next to me lap.
It takes a lot to convince you, doesn't it?
It does, and that is my one and only experience of actually feeling a presence on my hand, and I got such a fright on my arm. And I'm just wondering now, was it him?
It could have been.
It might have been. So there was
because he would have lived in the newer part.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If he's been seen in there on that staircase, so I did. That was my first real kind of scary experience, because I don't get scared very often, but I did get a fright that night.
I remember that clear as day. Because you jumped, it was like pitch black, and everybody was silent, and we were just waiting to see if we could hear noises and things like that. And then all of a sudden, you jumped and squealed, and everybody else started squealing.
I know, it's not like me to be like that.
I know.
But yeah.
That's quite funny.
And then up the stairs, we also had lots of kitten balls flashing on their own. Well, flashing like good responses. We were asking them to touch the ball,
weren't they?
And they were flashing. We had a lot of maglite hits up there as well, which are wee torches that we had left out. We also had the Connect going, which is the stick. You probably know better as a stick man. You see it on the screen, and we got a kind of stick figure appearing beside one of our guests, and I'm saying it was a nursery, but it had a little rocking horse kind of in it at that area.
It was away up on the top floor, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was like an attic room. So we've had really, really good responses and really good evidence up there.
Mm-hmm.
We've had, back in the old building, we've had EVPs. What else have we had?
In the old building, the
We had-
door between the master bedroom and the living room up the stairs, probably that usually tends to be my vigil area when we do it. And a number of times that door, that internet connecting door, has opened on its own.
Do you remember the night the actual big door opened, the big heavy door,
That's
the
right,
front door opened?
Mm-hmm. That's happened
Because
quite a few times.
we had candles in the middle of the floor, which kind of, well, as soon as that door opened, they all started fluttering. It was quite
Yeah, it was
eerie,
quite
wasn't
creepy.
it? It was quite creepy. Yeah, so we've had quite a few kind of
And we've
paranormal
heard
experiences.
talking through
We've
there
heard
as
talking.
well.
We've also heard footsteps. We heard heavy footsteps when we were all down the stairs, and we heard them up in the attic, which we thought was the security man.
Yeah,
So yeah, Provanhall is quite a favourite of ours, isn't it?
it is. What's your favourite experience of Provan Hall?
Mine,
Mm-hmm.
probably what I've just told you. Although I was a bit scared, but that was good.
Yeah. Provan Hall is always one of these places. It's either hit or miss. It's either flat as a pancake or it's alive, and you never know.
No. I'll tell you what, actually, as well in Provanhall, I don't get scared, as you know, if I'm walking about. I'm usually sometimes walking about my own, either coming out, bobbing in and out of rooms. But I had to go up and collect the extension lead from the attic, and got halfway up the stairs and had to go back down and get somebody to come with me. And I don't get like that either, so it just make me feel a wee bit uneasy. So yeah, it's definitely got an atmosphere about it, and some kind of paranormal. I don't know. It was just a strange feeling up in the attic.
It has got a really strange feeling up there. It
Totally
just-
different from
just
the old building.
Kind of feels like death up there.
Yeah,
And I don't know why. I know that sounds like a strange thing to say, but it just
that's what I
feels.
say. It's totally
death.
different from the old building.
Mm-hmm. The old building's very atmospheric and it can be very oppressive at times, but it's still got its own unique atmosphere. Whereas the top floor in the new building, it's like death. It's the only thing I can describe
I
it.
don't like it. What's yours?
Probably in the room where you got touched on the arm, like the hand thing. I was picking up on a spirit, and I'm not really that great with names when I'm working as a medium, but this particular name was really clear, and it was either John Buchanan or James Buchanan, and he was from around about 1880 or something like that, and that was fine. It was lighting torches and things, communicating, and then, as I say, my vigil area is usually in the old part, so we went across to do my vigil in the old part, and we decided we were going to do some board work, and lo and behold, this John or James Buchanan came through on the board, and everything I had said was getting repeated through the board, and I don't have a lot of confidence, but that was really good validation. I was absolutely blown away by it, and I don't think I'll ever forget that because it was so, every single thing came through on that board.
Wow.
It was really good. It was really good.
That's amazing. I don't know if any of you out there have been to Provanhall, but if you have, you can leave us a wee comment and tell us what you thought about it, and if you had any experiences while you were in there. Anything else about it?
No, it is an amazing location.
As it's lovely. If you get the chance, once it's all been refurbed, you should pop in and have a look. As I say, it's not where you would expect it to be, but you'll find it's not too bad.
It's just past the bus stop, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's better signposted now than what it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you very, very much for listening.
Thanks for listening.
And again, hope you are all staying safe. We're hopefully going to get a few restrictions lifted soon.
Hopefully.
We can get back out out in the dark nights, and rather than sitting talking to you on a computer, we can do wee live feeds again. So yeah, stay safe everyone, and we'll join you again next week and give you another 10-12 minute talk on another spooky place.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye.